I'm going to go over a quick review of this cabinet that I did before, just to show you how it works. I'm also going to do a little bit of a setup for the library. My library is not anywhere close to yours, so I am going to go through and set up something to give me, just so it feels a little bit closer to what we're looking at here. I'll show you how I can do that pretty quickly. I am at my house today due to all the fun stuff that's happening in the world, and if you hear little ones in the background, those would be my children. So excuse any interruptions that might happen. The other thing that's kind of different here is I have a large widescreen that I'm recording this on, so that's why there's so much dead space over there where the logo is. So I put me here so you can see me, and I got a picture on the side to show you the picture on the side here to show you what I'm going to be working on, and then Microvellum is right here. This is Microvellum Toolbox 2020. This is the OEM version, and I'm just going to go through and recreate this cabinet that you see here, just to give you an idea how that works, and the thought processes behind that. And then later, after this video, I'm going to record another video that's going to go through setting up our tool palette with some custom blocks that we create via AutoCAD. And I think that's going to be very helpful for a lot of this stuff. So, all right, I'm just going to get started. I've started the new job as... So everything's been copied from my template, but now I need to make some edits. I want to make it so that the back is fully applied versus anything captured. That's how I build things. So I'm going to set it up kind of the way I build things, but I think it'll look easier for what we're doing here. So the back's going to be fully applied, and I'm just going to set everything up for 3/4 inch pre-finished plywood or plywood, so that we're keeping things simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into global variables. Well, I'm going to go into the project wizard first. I'm going to go into construction, and I want to set this up so that it has a separate toe kick. My current library, which is the default library, is not set up in that way. So I'm going to go into construction. I'm going to go into additional construction, and I'm going to say, instead of notch to the floor, I'm going to say let's do a ladder style toe kick. I also have a new little one, so if you hear crying in the background, that would be him. I don't care about drawing countertops in this particular project. Everything else seems the same. I am going to go back to my default cabinet sizes. I'm going to change my toe kick height. Toe kick height here. I have it down as 3 1/4. We have 4 here, so I'm just going to say 3 1/4, and this will keep me from having to mess with the toe kick height when we get down to it. Okay, so I'm just checking. I have notes down here at the bottom. So now I'm going to go into my globals, and I'm going to just change some things. I'm going to save the changes I made to the project wizard, and I'm going to change some things to do with construction. So I'm going to go to cabinet back construction, and I'm just going to look and see. So I'm going to say fully applied on all of these. Fully applied. This will just make it so that everything looks cleaner. There's no like rabbits or anything funky like that are going to screw things up. Or not screw things up, but just make things look weird. So, and then I am going to do that. Let's see what other options we have. Thick back selection, that's fine. I'm not going to worry about thick back. Cabinet inserts. Back machining, we could put that in there. I actually don't. Corner back machining, applied back machining. Pilot hole, which is what I want. Yeah, okay. Dims to apply the pilot hole. Distance between pilot hole, that's 10 is fine. Okay, so I want to just make sure there's a nailer that sometimes gets thrown in there, and I want to make sure that that's not in there. I'm just not 100% sure where it is. Maybe here. Nailer location. I am planning on using a 3/4 inch back. You don't need a nailer when you're using a 3/4 inch. So use top nailer base, no. Use bottom nailer base. Now these settings are only going to be affected for this particular project. If I was setting up the library for myself, I would be turning all these off because I don't use nailers. So I think I got that. Now you can do your best to get everything going here. You're going to miss something. That just happens. So the best way to do this is to get it started, draw it first, see how it looks. If you notice there's a problem, find out what the problem is and come back here and fix it. It's the simplest I can keep things. All right, so there's my library construction. Everything else is fine here. I'm going to switch now to my materials. I am going to save those changes. I could have hit save at the bottom, but why? Now I'm going to just organize everything by material, and because I don't want to take the time to select each one individually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, hey, I want to take everything that is base, because I'm going to probably going to use bases on all of this, or, well, we'll see. So I'm going to say I want 3/4 inch plywood. Yeah, 3/4 inch plywood is fine. If this was my library, that would be my child is doing a web meeting. So I'm going to organize everything by base cabinet, or by the first letter. So my base cabinets, I'm just going to highlight every part and piece. Again, I'm being lazy. I should be picking the parts that I want, but because I don't want to do this, I'm going to do it this way. So there's my base cabinets, and just for kicks, I'm going to do the upper cabinets too. I don't think I'm going to be using any tall cabinet for this particular project. I can come back in and change it too later. So there's my 3/4 inch plywood there, and I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit save and close. And for right now, I'm going to just draw this bottom cabinet, but I'm not going to care about the size, just because I want to just make sure that everything came in correctly. So I'm going to call this a new room is fine. And I'm going to say associative template is fine. So here's my template file. We can keep this stuff or lose that stuff. It's really up to you. I'll keep it for right now. And now I'm going to go into draw, and I'm not going to draw a wall for this one. I'm just going to draw the cabinets just to keep it simple. Typically I would draw a wall, but I'm just going to draw cabinets. So I'm going to do, in this case, this is a cabinet that is getting this large face frame on it after the fact. But they're all different carcasses to make it up. So I'm going to make all the different carcasses, and then I'm going to draw in this face frame, and I'm going to analyze it and bring it in as a product. So I think that's the easiest way to break things up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with this being an open cabinet. These are all dominoes. I think they're called dominoes. I need to buy one of these machines because it was really cool when I was looking at it. But those are all hand done, so I don't really need to worry about machining on those. So I'm just going to say that these are all open base cabinets. I'm going to do an open base, nothing special about it. And I'm going to right click, and I'm going to draw it at a selected point. And I'm just going to pick down here as my selected point. And I'm going to just go with the defaults because I want to see how we did here. Actually, I'm going to just do one thing. I'm going to say, yes, go. Again, I just want to see how my library tweaking worked out. So now I can zoom in. Now, one thing I would like to do, so I'm just orbiting this. So notice first off, my toe kick did not draw perfect. An adjustable shelf, perfect. I have a thick back, great. I have dowel construction, that's fine. One thing I did notice is I want a full top. I don't want this. So I could have changed it for that product, but I'm going to change it across the board. So I'm going to go back to project, back to project properties. There's shortcuts too. If you know, once you get into it, you can just have a shortcut that goes to your globals. And I'm going to go to Project Wizard, and under construction, I'm going to say, pretty sure there was a thing, additional construction, just that I would like to draw full tops. So now that's going to draw a full top in. Okay, that's good. So save and close. Yes. And I'm going to redraw this particular product. This is how I set up my libraries. Just keep redrawing until it looks the way you want it to look, and then you're good to go. So enter. It's going to redraw this little guy, and then all your other products that you're making after this are going to match this style. And oop, I didn't hit redraw. I hit delete. That's all right. I just went with an open base cabinet. Anyways, yeah, I hit the delete button. Oh well. All right, so I'm going to draw this at selected point. We'll call, I'm going to actually say, let's do 0, 0, 0. Might shift it over a little bit. We're just going to go with the defaults. We'll change this after we get it tweaked. And this is going to draw in with that full top because I just hit OK. And just shifted back a little bit. So I got my full top in there. I got everything going on. I got the top, the back overlaid. There are some size issues here. Notice there's a setting in there that's causing that to happen. When I was doing my backs, because the materials we had, this is set to be, it's probably like a 30-second shy, which is fine. Some people like that. Yeah, 30 seconds shy. When I was set to do backs, we actually overhung our back 1/16 of an inch, and then we would route it. Hindsight being 2020, now I know with Microvellum being able to accommodate for your thicknesses, that was pretty much a moot point. I could have left the backs being perfect because the measurements that I was working with were perfect because I was calibrating everything. But we'll leave the back be that 32nd of an inch shy on that. What I would like to do is make sure that my edge banding, because this does not need edge banding, I'm just going to turn off my edge banding. So I'm going to go back to project properties. And it was something I wanted to do before and I forgot. And I'm just going to turn off this edge banding. Hopefully this isn't too crazy in terms of going into things, but this is kind of like a working through this project. So I'm going to go to edge banding parts. I'm going to organize it by pointer. I'm going to go to edge banding here. And technically it doesn't get edge banding. So what can we do for that? Let's go. Let's just see what happens if I select everything. Delete selected material pointer. No, I don't want to do that. Remove materials associated with pointer. Remove material association from pointer groups. No. I think it just did it for that one. Move. There's a none someplace. Again, it's been a while since I've done this, so bear with me. But there should be. If there isn't a none, I might just have to try this. Yeah, for some reason it's just doing it one at a time. That's annoying. Find, delete. So I'm going to just go to the cabinet one. So cabinet body edges. No. Open. No. Body edges. No. Applied. Now adjustable shells would get edge banding. So I would keep those adjustable shells edge banded, and I'm going to make all of these to be veneer and to be maple veneer to match my plywood. guess this is. Just gonna make them all maple plywood and then turn off the ones I want. So upper cabinets, sorry, none, 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 none. This is gonna remove the machining shelf edges. Okay, miscellaneous, fine. Cabinet top shelf, no, interior edges. Actually want to keep the interior edges. If this was my library, I might add a few more pointers for like the base cabinets, because when I was doing this back with the older version, there was a lot more pointers here. Body edges, let's just say remove. And you can customize this, so I can just right click and hit add material pointer. You can customize it however you want. All right, so let's just save that. Again, don't pull your hair out trying to figure out if you got everything. Save it, redraw it, and you'll see if you got everything. If you need to go back, then you need to go back. All right, let's try to redraw this and not delete it. Yeah, that's fine. And then that's going to pull in. Redrawing probably wasn't necessary for that because everything's been saved in the spreadsheet. But so now if I really want to, I could just see if, hey, did I get everything or not? And this is going to open up the spreadsheet associated with this. Hopefully this isn't too complicated. But this is going to show us what's going on. So I'm going to come up here. I always like to filter my parts. Just want to show everything that's included. So here's my base cabinet parts. And my little tab here is all the way over. I'm curious. Got a new mouse. I'm curious if that would work, but it didn't. So now I can see here's all my part. Here's my material. Here's my edge banding. Looks like I got it. The thing that I might want is this adjustable shelf, which you can see up here. So the carcass is different than the adjustable shelf. If I want to see the adjustable shelf, I'm going to come up here and filter and filter. And now this has got the maple veneer. Check. We did it. All right. So that looks good. So I don't even need to save anything. I'm just going to close it. Just want to check my work. So now there is one other thing that I'd like to do, and this is kind of my own thought. But I want to show you. I wouldn't. Just want to show you that this is the ability. Notice on the back there's no screws. There's a setting, and I don't know. I couldn't find the setting when I was doing things, so I had to add my own screws to the back. But for some reason it wasn't coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my part properties. I'm going to add some screws. Hopefully I still remember how to do it. So part properties is a different way to look at things. It's coming up down here. And this basically lists out everything. So I got my carcass base, which is the one that I'm working on. And I'm just going to pull this over here so you can see what's going on. So here's what we're looking at. Here's my carcass base. And then I got left side open, right side, bottom, and top. Well, all of those touch that back. And the machining needs to get associated with the back. But the way it works is the machining for the left side, for the back, actually gets added to the left side. So when the left side touches the back, the machining is activated. So I'm going to just go through and say, hey, I want to go to my machine tokens, see what the left side has. Looks like the left side, show all tokens, has got a lot of machine tokens that are turned off, right? So I'm going to turn that off. So I'm going to actually just say, let's add a new machine token. And in this case, we have a list of machine tokens. See how we can do associative cam, we can do a dado, we can do a saw. These are all things that are good to just have in your arsenal to know how it works. But see this type 1? That's the machine token, this construction, associative construction hole. See how it is putting a bunch of holes in? So I'm going to say, let's add this machine token. It's going to go to phase 5. We'll mess with that later. So here's my first one. And I am going to select an edge that I want it to go on. And now this is going to show us which edge it's going to pick. So we want it to go on edge 2. Now let's just draw this. Let's just draw this and see what happens. And now this is just asking me a question. Would I like to save this machine token just to the project level, which would affect all base cabinets? Good point. I do want to affect all base cabinets in this project. Do I want to just save it to this one product? Do I want to override this one product, or do I want to save it as a new subassembly? Well, I actually want to save it to the project. So all of my base cabinets in this project from here on out, we're going to have that associated machining on that back. Great. Save it. I don't care about seeing that. That's great. Okay. So now it's going to draw that in. I want to see what it looks like. And then I'm going to tweak things from there. Again, you can always draw it, see what it looks like, and then tweak it. The property last conditional active. Open product must be a numerical value. Okay, something's coming up as an error. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. So something came up as an error. I don't know why. Instruction hole 2. So that's the diameter. That's way too big. Edge port depth. No, I don't care about that. Okay, so see that it's just because I forgot to fill this out. All right, so distance to the first hole. Let's just keep it simple. 1.5 inches to the first hole. Distance to the last hole equals the length. Let's see, part. I don't know if this is going to work. Length minus 1.5 inches. Apply. Did not work. Sorry, just looking through. So I want it to be this. Left side length. That's what I want. Copy. So I'm going to go back to my machine. So I want this to say equal left side length minus 1.5 inches. Apply. Good, gives me a number. Edge bar I don't care about. 0 is fine. This is 0, 0. I do care about the face bore, but I want this to be the part thickness. But for right now, I'll just say 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. I want the diameter on this to be 4 millimeters. Those are in millimeters. Drill from opposite side. No. Distance between holes. Let's go with 8. Let's go with 10. You can actually make that equal a formula, but right now we're just going to do that. All right, so that's been saved, and then I'll just say save and redraw and see what happens. Again, I would not be doing this for a project. My library would already be set up. And there's the holes. Distance between holes, I don't like 10. Let's make it 8. Let's try it. Let's see what that does. So that's going to redraw for a second. Gives me one hole. There is a better way that you can do this. I had a formula driven one that was better, so I'll show you kind of my thought. I don't like uneven holes. So distance between holes. Well, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. I want 5 screws on the height of that. So I'm going to say equals left side length But it can't just be left side length. It's got to be minus 1.5 inches for the one and 1.5 inches for the other. That's the distance to the first hole, distance to the last hole. Well, this has got to be in parentheses. And then I'm going to divide this whole thing by 5. There's my distance between holes. I'm going to draw this. It's going to be equal now. And it's going to be equally spaced. Again, I'm taking this to the next level here, but I just want to show you how this works. So there, my holes are equally spaced. Actually, now that just gave me 6, I should have divided it by 4. That's fine. We can just hit divide by 4. I'm not even going to redraw it. I'm just going to apply the formula. And I'm going to do this. Next step, I'm going to copy this. Copy to clipboard. And I'm going to copy this under screw tokens. Ooh, that's interesting. When I was a lad, I used to always use construction holes. Maybe there's a screw token that I should have used, but that's fine. We're going to save this as Adams, new, back. Well, let's do back length screw holes. We'll say left side. Perfect. Save. Okay, so now I'm going to go, now that's been saved. Now I'm going to go to my right side. I'm going to add a new token from clipboard though. I'm going to say that's the one I want to add. Paste it. However, there is one difference here. On this point here, this is not the left side. Now this is the right side. Okay, now I'm going to hit apply. Same formula calculation, no big deal. But here's the cool thing. So now I'm going to say, great. And I would like to copy token to clipboard. Okay, now this one I'm going to say under screws. I'm going to now call this back. Oops. Back length screw hole right. Now this is the right side. See, what's cool about this is all the cabinets from now on, I can just pull in that one copy token. So like all that work that I just did, that just happened once. Don't really have to do it ever again. All right, so now that's got hit that hole in it. This one, I want to make sure this got associated to the right edge, which it should have. Yep, 2 is the correct edge. See this construction hole 2, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be the edges. Okay, so now same concept. I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to go to part length here, and I want to see what my width is. So the width on this guy, or actually the length on this guy, is what I want. So bottom length. I've got to remember that. So this got 2 construction holes associated to it already, right? But now I'm going to do a new one, and I'm going to say insert or add, and I'm going to say it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say the back length. Okay. It's going to come in construction 2. Let's just check to make sure that's on the right edge. 2 is the right edge. Perfect. This one I am going to say instead of the left side length, it was what? The bottom length. Bottom length. Let's apply it and see if it calculates. It calculated. That's giving me 5 holes equally spaced. Now I had another formula, like if it grew bigger than such and such, it would just divide it by a certain amount. I'm not going to mess with that right now. So there's that. Okay, and now I'm gonna copy. Well, I'm not going to copy this. You saw how easy it was. Now I'm going to go into top. I'm going to go into paste. I'm going to say left hole. That's fine. Paste. Now this is construction. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't think we can undo on that either. Well, that's okay. I'm going to copy this now. So I think I overwrote that one for 3. That's fine. I just need to come in here. So see how this says 4? The other one was 3. So I just need to come in here and say, hey, this was 3. I made a mistake. This is 3. And I'm going to hit apply. See, just change to 3. We're good to go. Now this is going to be different. This is going to be the top length. Top. Okay, and we're going to apply. That's coming in correctly. No, that is not coming in correctly. That's fine. So we're going to go back to this, and we're going to go into here. Top, full top length, because this is a full top. So when the formula doesn't come in, it's just telling us there's something wrong. There it is. All right, now I'm going to save, close, and redraw, and it should give us all the construction holes that we want in the back. Perfect. The only thing that's not perfect is this guy. I know why that's not perfect. Let me go right back to that for a second. This is all the joys of not doing this for a little while and then coming back to it. So it's going to pull open that. I'm going to load my back carcass. Notice this is red now because I made some alterations to it. I'll show the properties. I'm going to go into the bottom, open, machine tokens. So this one that I added, the distance between holes, I have it based off of the length of that. It needs to be based off of the bottom. So just a formula switch. But see, what's cool about this is going to be for all of them, like moving forward. So like I don't have to do this for every single cabinet. I've done it once in one cabinet. It's going to apply to everything else. So this is the full top length. That's what this was. Full top length. Apply. Gives us a number. Save, close, and redraw. It's going to pull in those numbers. Now, when I make these cabinets smaller, we might have to adjust that division number that we had for the distance between holes. Like I said, I had a formula that was well thought through, and I had it adjusted so that when you adjusted the height or the width, everything equally spaced. But for right now, this is good. So now I have this carcass, and I need to start thinking about setting this up to look like this. But what's cool is, and I'm going to show you this because I've been working in this particular one this whole time. So now I'm going to jump in and I'm going to edit the height on this. So on this guy, the width on this is 58.5 inches. So I need to have on the bottom 2 carcasses that are half of that. So I'm just going to open up my Windows calculator. I'm going to say 58.5. Oops. 58.5 divided by 2. So I got 29.25. So that's going to be my width. 29.25. My height now on this, I measured it. It was 14 3/4. 14 3/4. The depth on these guys, and I could actually change this to be. Let me change the depth because the depth is all the same, and I don't want to have to edit this. So height, width, depth I'm going to change. It does have one adjustable shelf, so I'll make sure it's one adjustable shelf, which it is. I'm going to click OK. And now I am going to adjust the entire depth of everything. So see I was kind of afraid of that. My whole spacing there is a little funky, but that's okay. I'm going to come into my entire depth. After the adjustments that I made, hopefully you should be able to get the fact that we can adjust that. So my entire depth on this is 22 and a Project Wizard, 22 and a quarter is the carcass, and then the face frame goes on top. So I'm gonna say my Project Wizard construction sizes. We'll just keep these all base cabinets. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to say all my base cabinets. Base cabinet depth is 22 and a quarter. And just for kicks, I'll make, yeah, that's fine. 22 and a quarter is fine. Save and close. And then I'm going to redraw this, and it's going to adjust the depth automatically. And now all the new cabinets that I make from here on out will be at the correct depth. Yeah. So a quick way to check to make sure everything is drawing in correctly is we can do a distance command. So if you type in DI, and we can measure from here to here and get the height and the width. So 29 and a quarter, which is what that was, and by 11 and a half. Ooh, got a problem. And then from here, the depth, I'm just going to pick a point back here, was 22 and a half. So 11 and a quarter is my height. That's a problem because it's supposed to be 14, and I know why it's a problem. Because in my project properties, what I actually should have done is I should have gone into the wizard and I should have said that my Tokic height, additional construction, no, cabinet sizes, I should have said my Tokic height is 0, not 3. Because it's subtracting the Tokic height from the base. That's why that's coming in funky. All part of the fun. All right, so now I'm just going to redraw this whole thing one more time, last time, and then start to. We could redraw without machining if we really wanted to save some time, but that's fine. I don't mind watching it. I don't mind seeing the machining. All right, so we got some adjustable shelf holes in there now and all of these guys. All right, so now we can start to think about next steps. Next steps I have, well, there's a cabinet right next to this one that's the same. I could just drop another one in there and adjust all the sizes, or I could go down to modify and I could say modify products, and I could say, hey, I want to make a copy of this product. So I would like to make a copy of this product, and I would like to make it from this point here as my base point to this point here. I'm just using AutoCAD to pick those 2 points. It's going to automatically copy that product. It's going to copy the size. It's going to copy and make it number 2. Now I place these 2 products at the 0, 0, 0 point. My Tokic height is my separate Tokic height is 3 and a quarter. So what I'd like to do, just for the sake of doing it, is I'd like to move both of these up in Z by 3 and a quarter. So I'm just going to make my cursor go up, and I'm going to say 3.25. Now that's just jumped up. Now, my next cabinet is going up here. It is the full width, and it is all a different height. The height on this guy is 6 3/8. So I'm going to do this again because I could just start dropping in other products, let me drop in another product because I want to show you that, you know, all this customization that I did isn't because I've just been copying and pasting these up. So I want to show you that if this was my project and I was working on it, I would actually just copy and paste it. But I'm going to just show you, hey, I want to do another base cabinet and I want to pick a point. Let's see, let's pick a point to draw this cabinet. Now this is another reason why I like to have my back going full, because technically this point would be out here. And it's annoying. The width on, so I just need to change the width and the height on this. So the width on this would actually be the width of both of those combined. So instead of me doing the math or trying to remember what it was, I'm just going to double click in this and I'm going to pick between 2 points. So I'm going to say, hey, my width of the cabinet is going to be from here to here. And boom, it pulls in the 58.5. Height on this I said was 9. No. It was 6, but looks like it's 6 3/4. So sorry, no, 6 3/8. Depth is good. Now I don't want an adjustable shelf in this one, so I'm going to say no adjustable shelves. So this is just going to be open. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to draw that in there. Again, that machine token in the back for the back instruction is a little off, but that's all right. Oh no, why did that happen? Must not have saved. That's weird. All right, let's. So carcasses are subassembly, and I thought I saved it to the project, but again, this is new, slightly new to me. My workflow before was a little bit different. I thought I saved it to the project, but maybe I didn't. Show properties. It did turn red. Machine tokens. How do I save this? Could revert it back, but let's say save. Save and close. All right, now this says save to the project. Ah, here we go. Save to product. I forgot. See, I said save to current row. Save to project, override existing. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to save it to library, but I want to save it to the project and I want to override the existing. Okay, now I should be able to redraw this guy. Maybe, I don't know, I might have missed my window, but we'll see. This should hopefully do it. Yep, redraw everything. Yep. See? Sometimes I wonder. I'm not crazy. All right, so next I am going to throw in another one. Now again, this is the same. So now that you saw that I've drawn that, there was a little bit of an issue, but I tweaked it and we're good. Now I'm going to go back to my project. Oops, my modify, I mean. And I'm going to say, let's copy this guy up. And I'm going to copy this guy up. Enter, and I'm just going to say it was 6 3/8. Now the height on this guy is 38 9/16. So I'm just going to jump into my prompts. No adjustable shelf in this one. And I'm going to change the height on this to 30. What did I say? 38. 625 9 6. So now that's going to change, and then the top cabinets are going to be identical to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and see my holes my holes came in for that one because I copied it, but my holes are going to come in correct from now on out, here on out. So I'm going to copy this one more time, but I'm going to copy these lower cabinets. Boom, boom. And I'm going to copy these up from here up to here. And I need to change the height on both of these to be 25 and a half. They do get an adjustable shelf in them. Actually, I'm going to put 2 adjustable shelves. So there's those 2. Now, there's another way that you can adjust the height on these things. We can go to Product Viewer. Well, actually, what I can do is I'm going to add a token here. I'm going to add this as my... This is just something that should have been on here. This is new to me, so the 2020 is new to me, so it's just something I haven't added, which I typically had before. So I want to look at the list of all my products. I want to adjust the heights on these things. I want to adjust the 2 because they're both the same. This is just another workflow. I'm not trying to confuse you. Again, this is just kind of another workflow. So those last 2 cabinets that I just dropped in here are 5 and 6. Well, I want to adjust the height on both of those. I don't want to have to go into the prompts and out of the prompts and redraw it and do this and do that. It's a pain in the butt. So I'm going to come into what's called Overdrive Pro. In Overdrive Pro, I'm able to adjust these kind of on the fly. So I highlighted both of those. This is more like a spreadsheet. And I want to say, hey, I want to see, or I want to adjust a part property. I want to adjust the height on this, both to be 25 and a half. So now I'm going to click OK. Both heights now just came in at 25 and a half. Now the other thing that I would like to adjust is I would like to adjust the fact that I'd like to adjust their show prompts. It's going to just be prompts for the 1. So there's going to be prompts for 5. So I'm going to say in 5, I want it to be 2 adjustable shelves. Boom. And now it's not going to redraw it, and I can make that edit quickly in 6. And I don't have to wait for AutoCAD to redraw it, and then I can just redraw everything at the same time. This is where a lot of my edits actually happen, because then you don't have to wait for the redrawing. You just get it set up. Everything looks good. You click OK. And now we can just close this because this has just edited the database. And then I can just say, hey, I want to redraw these 2 cabinets because those are the only 2 I changed. And now those heights and the adjustable shelves are going to happen both at the same time. Okay, so now we got to start thinking about this face frame. I'm going to change this to a conceptual view so you can see. So here's my cabinet on this side for what we were looking to create. And here is my multiple cabinets on this side of what we created. Sometimes these numbers get in the way too. If you want to, you can highlight them, and there is a way to hide them all. Renumber, refresh. There was a way to hide them all before. No. Just a button. I gotta figure out what it is. Hide selected entity. That's one way to do it. And we could just say, hey, do the same thing. So we could do that. We could select. It's called select similar. And then we can hide all of these guys. So now we just see what's here. So now I want to draw this face frame in so that we have something to go off of. So I'm going to say do a wireframe, but the problem is I don't want to pull all these dimensions. I just want to draw something, and I want to analyze it. So what I've done, or what the face frame did on this, was there was an 1/8 of an inch overhang inside all the cabinets, and then on this side and on the top and on the bottom it covered up the kick, and it covered up, for scribing and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to the front view, and this should actually look you know, it's the 3 1/4 off. I can draw in a toe kick after we get this done. Maybe I'll draw on the toe kick first because then I can pull it in as part of this. So toe kick on this guy, I'm going to go back to my draw. And it's not a base cabinet, it's actually a miscellaneous. No, it's a toe kick. Base assembly, yeah, that's fine. And I'm going to say let's pick. I'm actually going to pick a point, but I drew this first one at 0 0 0 and then I moved it up 3 1/4. So I'm just going to say I want to draw this at 0 0 0 because I had moved everything up. Now the width on this is going to be the same, so I'm just going to double click. So width is going to be from here to here. The depth on this, or the height, is actually going to, I'm going to override this because it's pulling in. The depth, I'm going to pick 2 points again here. Now in this case, I'm going to pick a point here, and I'm going to go perpendicular to it because see that little step in, again, I would not do my construction method like that, but that little step in would throw our numbers off in AutoCAD. So me going perpendicular is going to pull in a good number there. Width actually pulled in a funky number. That's a problem. Must have hit the wrong thing. Yeah, there we go. All right, so there's that. We'll call that good. And that's going to draw in a ladder style kick. Oh, the only thing I don't want to do there is I don't want to have that set in an inch and an inch and an inch. So we have, see the rear space, we have it set as an inch. No, I don't want to do that. Left tab, no, no, I want that to be 0. 0. Hey, I double clicked. 0. And we'll click OK. This is all right. So now my toe kick is full length and width. Now I'm going to look at it from the front. And I'm going to do one little thing here because right now I'm in the front view. Well, I want this to say top view for me to do all my drawing. So I'm going to say UCS, which is the UCS. And I'm going to say I want it to be associated with the face, which is going to be making this the UCS. And I want to actually associate with the view, sorry. So see now it says top. Now I can draw rectangles. Before I wasn't able to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start drawing some rectangles to say, hey, this is how my cabinet is supposed to be. So and this is AutoCAD only. I have not done anything, I'm not doing anything in Microvellum. So I'm just going to say, hey, let's pick these 2 points here. Let's pick these points here. And it's drawing everything at one plane because I'm in that top view. My AutoCAD is definitely slower. For some reason it's being slow today. This would be a lot faster usually. So I do need to know, because I'm going to do something after I'm done with this. I do need to know where the outside of this is. So I'm going to pick a point here. I'm going to go all the way up to here. I'm going to make sure that I get to the outside because that's not going to be the back. So there's my cabinet, and I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say select similar. Okay, so there's all my parts and pieces, and I'm just going to move them over, I don't know, 100 inches. So here's everything that's going on there. Here's everything that's going on here. Now, one thing that's different, or one thing that I know, is that all of these we're getting offset in 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I am going to do that. So I'm going to type in offset. I'm going to type in 1/8 of an inch. Actually, first I'm going to do is I'm going to type in E for erase, because I don't want to keep the inside line, and I do want to erase this time, and I want to erase it after I've offset it in 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to zoom in, pick a point, see it's erased it. Okay, now I know that I'm looking at the right line. Boom. I think 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16 was more like what it was, but that's all right. You get the point. In 1/8, in 1/8. Okay, so now, enter. So now I'm going to offset again and just type in O. I'm going to say erase. I'm going to say no. And I don't want to do 1/8. I'm just gonna hit enter and enter again, because I just wanted to make sure that erase wasn't still on. So now I do want to say, hey, on the inside at the top here, we wanted to offset another, so we'll say another, I don't know, 3 inches. Or actually, let's make it 2 1/4. So it's 3 inches overall. So that's what's going on at the top. So I'm going to just grab this guy and I'm going to pull him up. And on the sides, I want to have 2 inches on each side. This is more of a scribe. I'm just kind of having fun with this. Offset 2. Actually, I don't even need to offset 2. I just need to grab this line, and I need to grab this grip, and I need to pull it this way 2 inches. And I need to grab this grip and I pull it this way 2 inches. Okay, so there is my face frame. I just need to break it up. So what I'm going to do is just start drawing some rectangles, and I'm going to break it up into the face frame pieces. Okay, so there's the first one. Eventually, actually, and before I do that, I'm going to just group everything here together. Make sure my group display. Well, let's just make this a block. We're going to call this pre face frame. Okay. So that way I can highlight it and erase it later. All right, so now this, I'm going to mirror. Just do an AutoCAD right now. And I'm going to pick a point here. Got a face frame there. I have a large face frame here. I have a small one that's going in between from here to here. I have a large face frame from here, here. So I'm just drawing rectangles. Nothing crazy. Now in this case, I'm going to trash this. Shouldn't have done that. I'm going to do a rectangle from here to here. And I've just drawn everything over top. So I'm just going to say, hey, let's send this one back to the back. And now I can say, hey, I want to trash that. So now I'm going to reset my view here to world. So see, now I'm the front. I'm going to orbit this around, and look, there's our face frame. There's our carcasses. The only thing I have left to do is I want to extrude these individual pieces. I would like to extrude to make the face frame. I want to extrude it 3/4 of an inch. So I'm typing in 3/4 of an inch. There's my face frame. Now, this is still not a Microvellum product. So I'm going to go into solid modeling. And I'm going to say, hey, I want to analyze these parts to make it a face frame. So do I want to save the drawing? Yeah, always a good idea. I'm going to say that this is going to be solid wood. It was actually poplar because I think this was, well, let's just make it, let's make it 3/4 inch hardwood. And I'm going to save this to current project and draw. Yeah. In current drawing. Now it's asking me to pick a spot to draw. I'm just for kicks going to pick right here. Oops. We'll move it when we need to. Oh, these guys that are turning in red. Here, let's trash this. Hold on. Erase. There's a reason why those are red. So I'm going to erase this. No big deal. Yep. Okay, and then I need to go into my my options. And I'm going to go into my solids. Machining, solid analyzation. See, there's a minimum here, the part thickness, maximum part size. So those are like inch. So I'm going to say 1.25 inches is my minimum. Maximum length. That should be fine. It's that was causing a problem. So now I'm going to just do that one more time. So I want to analyze. That didn't take that long to analyze, so it's really no big deal. And we're going to say that that was 3/4 inch hardwood. Save to current drawing is fine. I'm just going to throw it out over here and see if it looks good, and then I'll move it into place. Perfect. Those do not turn red anymore. Now I'm just going to move this. So I'm going to use a move command. I'm using the move command via Microvellum. And I'm going to say enter. And I'm going to move it from here. Now note, I do have to move it again once I get it to the right spot here. So I'm just going to hit the space bar. And I'm going to move this up 1/8 inch. And I'm going to move it one more time, so hitting the space bar. And I'm going to move it over 1/8 inch. Now that, when I look at it in a wireframe conceptual view, is going to be my face frame. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to trash this 3D model because I don't need this anymore. It's just kind of a bones to the. Okay, and now I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, hey, I want to analyze this cabinet, or not analyze it. I want to actually machine this. So let's go back to. It doesn't really matter. Project. I'm going to say let's create a new work order. And I'm going to say, this is my project, this is my room, and let's process this as a work order. So I'm just going to process parts and pieces. Sorry, I had it off the screen. Time for a coffee break. So it's just looking, you can see it's processing all these base cabinets. So now it's saying, hey, do you want to take a look at the work order? I do. It's It's probably going to come up on the wrong screen. Yep. So I'll just pull it into place once it loads. Okay. I'm going to make it full screen. Now we can organize parts and pieces. So these are all the parts and pieces associated with this project. So what I want to do is I'm going to assign them all to nest. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to assign the nest. Assigning, that's fine. Okay, the only thing that it did not do is it did not assign them to these face frame pieces. And notice they're coming in at part 1, 2, 3, 4. I could go in there and clean that up if I wanted to, but this is going to cut list those things, however. So now I've got everything done and I want to process this. And it's going to say, there's a piece, plywood is too big to fit. That's fine. That was my mistake. I should have adjusted the part size. I made it so I think the length or grain direction might have something to do with it. So we could adjust that as needed. But I'm just going to show you this all finished. And missing vertical. Oh, that's funny. Don't show again. Yes. I don't know if I had a 4mm drill in there. So my tool file is just the default one. We used to have a 4mm drill at the old shop that I used to work. So I put that in there and it might not have just come up because of that. So now I am going to go say, let's look at my nest. See what it looks like. Might not see back holes because of that 4mm hole. Or no, it just told me that there's not there even though it drew it in. So here's all my sides. Here's all my holes coming in. Oh, it's nice to see Microvellum looking like this. Usually I got all these routes and funkiness going on. But this is much nicer. This is what I used to look at. Nice, clean, good square parts, rectangular parts. Cool. So that looks good. And now I just want to look at some reports. My reports. I'm going to look in, and we can also print labels, but I'm going to look at some reports quick. Oops. Print reports, print reports. Again, everything's coming down on my bottom screen. Maybe we could do a nest optimization report. Yeah, that's no fun. Let's do a product detail report. Dynamic image. This is going to be the cut list for everything. Okay, product detail reports coming in at the bottom. So there it is. So this has got each cabinet laid out. And then let's go all the way to the bottom and see if it laid out my other one. Hey, look at that. I have a little image and boom, there's all the sizes. Awesome. From AutoCAD drawing to that. Very cool. Okay. Cut lists, everything. This would I would just have to jump in there and name these. Would take me what, 5 minutes, 2 minutes to name those. Come all in, all cut lists ready to go. I'd rename the product to face frame for this particular project. Awesome. Okay, so we can do a lot of other different reports. I'm going to look at labels real quick. Part labels, print preview. These would be if you wanted to label and see your edge banding. That would be my child in the background. So you can see no edge banding actually is associated with any of this stuff but it's got all the little pictures on there. Very cool. All right, so now I'm going to save this.